Back patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon experience, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeart, Amazon. It is a special presentation of the week in gaming, of course. Um, I just realized something, but that's more on the admin end of this, so it doesn't matter for you guys. You're just gonna get the content. Today was Summer Games Fest. I actually was going to do there was a live video, and then I started having some issues with the internet, and I didn't want the video quality to be bad, so I just said, screw it. I'm just gonna watch the damn thing, and then I will record my reaction afterwards. Also, it's like 2 hours long, and I was already starting to feel a little tired. So once I closed out of OBS, turned the camera off, all that stuff, and just kind of sat and watched. I'm not gonna lie, I dozed off a couple of times, but that doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. This was a good show. I'm gonna say it right out, just right off the bat. Go ahead and get into it. This is a good show. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. This is 7 out of 10, so this is like a B for me or something like that. I'm gonna tell you why I took points off. I didn't do this with the PlayStation show, but I now have figured out like a ranking system for how to rank these shows. So I'm going to tell you why I took points off. Okay. Again, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I thought that, they showed some really great stuff. It was a little heavy on one thing, and we'll talk about that in a second. And that's actually why I took a point off. That's 1 point deducted. But other than that, let's just go ahead and get into it. Here's why this is why the first point comes off. I'm gonna tell you this right off the top. Too many Souls clones. Too many clones of Souls-like games. I've tried some of them, not a fan. Everybody raved about Bloodborne. I was like, okay, I'll try it out. I didn't play Demon Souls on the PlayStation 3. I didn't play any of those games, right? So it was like, you got to try out Bloodborne. I'm like, eh. They're like, no, it's free on PlayStation Plus. You got PlayStation Plus? Of course I got PlayStation Plus. Get Bloodborne. All right, cool. Download it. I'm hype. I was like, all right, Bloodborne. This is what everybody's been telling me about. And no, it just wasn't for me at all. I get it. I respect it. This is what you guys do. There's people who don't like fucking playing Madden and NHL and NBA 2K and Grand Theft Auto and The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers. So we're all not going to like the same games, and that's totally fine. Totally fine, right? Here's my problem, though. Because of the massive success of Elden Ring. Elden Ring's a game changer. It won Game of the Year that it came out over God of War Ragnarok. They were the most nominated games that year. God of War, I think, won more awards at the Game Awards, but Elden Ring won Game of the Year. But Elden Ring's massive success just made the Souls genre, like From Software was already killing it. Again, Bloodborne, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, that also won Game of the Year for them. Demon Souls remake launched with the PS5. That was a From Software title. Originally, but Blue Point did the PlayStation 5 remake. So I get it, right? But it made it's follow the leader. Unfortunately, that's what happens in gaming, and that's what happens in a lot of things. Everybody wanted to make a Souls game. Then you had Lies of P come out, which was a Souls genre take on the story of Pinocchio. Even that one caught my attention. I was like, I don't like Souls games, but I think this is dope. This isn't like Disney's Pinocchio. This is like dark Pinocchio, right? And I tried that one. I was like, it's cool. I like it, but not enough that I'm going to keep going. Luckily, it was in Game Pass. So I'm at the point where I'm just like, I'm Souls out. And now every time you turn around, every gaming show, there's a Souls game. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, right? Right off the bat. Here's a From Software Souls game strictly for the Nintendo Switch 2, right? Elden Ring. Here's a multiplayer for Elden Ring, Night Rain, like all this, like it's too much. So at the top of this show, there was a lot of games, and I was just like, this all just looks like Soul stuff. Like everybody does not have to do this. Everybody does not have to do this. We all don't have to make the same game. I know it's a popular genre right now, and people are going to jump on those because they're so popular, but everybody don't have to do this. That's all I'm saying. So I deducted 1 point because there were like too many like Souls clones. I don't know if all those games are going to be Souls clones, but if you look at the combat and look at the character design, it's extremely heavily influenced. Heavily influenced. And then when you look at stuff like the PlayStation State of Play, there were some games that looked like I remember when everything was, oh, this is a Metroidvania. This is a Metroidvania. Every game does not have to be a Metroidvania. Uh, Everything became open world last gen, and it's like, this is going to kill gaming. There's nothing wrong with linear games. Every game does not have to be a sprawling open world with all these keystones on the map and so many things to do. That's not necessary. That's just not necessary. Because again, the game becomes follow the leader. It stops innovation. I remember when the multiplayer era hit really hard in like the PS3 and 360 generation. Single player, story driven, linear games were shipping with multiplayer suites attached to them. Oh, Uncharted. I remember like Uncharted's got a multiplayer. What the fuck is this? Like, why? The Last of Us shipped with factions. You know what I mean? So, we got to stop doing this. Developers, you guys have got to be like, the publishers are like, hey, did you see what they did? They made like everybody had a battle royale because PUBG and Fortnite were super successful. And then Fortnite just ate PUBG's lunch. And then Call of Duty, the best first-person shooter on the planet, is like, yeah, we're going to add a battle royale mode as well. It's not necessary. It's follow the leader. Nobody's being innovative. Nobody's being innovative. Nintendo came out with the Wii, the motion controls. Everybody went crazy. Next thing you know, Xbox has got Kinect and PlayStation's got Move. There's no innovation. There's no innovation. And because the Xbox One initially shipped with the Kinect, it made it $100 more than the PlayStation 4. Like, you cannot afford to do that. Like, some innovation is good. Nintendo added the analog stick to the Nintendo 64 controller, and then analog sticks basically became the standard for the industry on controllers after that. That was good. That's when you follow the leader and it turns out good. Everything else, everybody does not have to do this. Everybody just does not have to do this. Roguelikes and roguelites and all this stuff. Like, so right now, there's too much of the Souls stuff out there. Everybody's got to find their own place. Everybody does not need to be doing the same thing. That's all I'm saying. So I deducted 1 point because there were too many Souls games. There is one developer called Munfish, and they showed up and they did their motherfucking job. They did not come to fucking play. So they showed off Atomic Heart 2. That looked fucking incredible. Absolutely fucking incredible, right? I was very impressed by that. And then they're like, and Jeff Keighley's like, but wait, that's not all we have from Munfish. I was like, oh, they got more? I was like, okay, they're not going to go 2 for 2. Well, yeah, the fuck they did. They went 2 for fucking 2. They showed off this game called The Cube, which looked insane. Now, it is a multiplayer, and it's like you're on this cube. It's like a shooter, and the cube rotates like a Rubik's Cube. So it's changing the landscape at all times, refreshing the gameplay. And that, I'm like, okay, this is a dope concept. This is a dope concept. Now, please don't everybody go out and copy what Munfish did, because everybody's not going to be able to pull this off. But this was an amazing concept, and I 100% am behind it. So shout out to Munfish. I'm going to do some research on them. I'm not saying they're going to become my favorite developer. It's going to be hard to supplant Naughty Dog and Rockstar and Insomniac and the Coalition, because I love the Gears games and stuff like that. It's going to be hard to supplant some of those studios. But Munfish, this looked really good, so I'm going to look into them and see what else they have available. Next, we got one, and this made me, like, really jump up. I was like, oh, shit, here we go. Marvel Cosmic. So this is where the internet started to be a bitch for me. And I was like, fuck. And it was lagging really bad. Like, the sound was up to speed, but the video was behind. So he's like, check out Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I'm like, yeah, as soon as the fucking video catches up to the sound, which is crazy. And then I see it, and I see the art style, and I immediately recognize this art style. I was like, this definitely looks like that Turtles game that Dot.emo did. And Dot.emo also did Streets of Rage 4, which I absolutely love. And I grind the shit out of Streets of Rage 4. And then I look down in the corner, and sure enough, it says fucking Dot.emo. So I'm 100% behind this game. That one, I don't know where I'm going to play it. Let's just pull up a browser. Let's see where it's available. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It is listed as an arcade game. Is coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, and Nintendo Switch in 2025. It's interesting that they don't mention Series S and they don't mention Nintendo Switch 2. So Rocket Raccoon and She-Hulk. She-Hulk looked amazing in this. They don't have a Wikipedia page. It's crazy. So the Xbox listing is up. The PlayStation listing is up. The Steam listing is up. I don't show anything for Epic Games. Let's just check platforms. There's no way that this is not available on Series S, because Microsoft is not doing that. They want parity. So if you're going to develop for the Series X, you got to develop the game for the Series S as well. Yes, Marvel. Okay, so Marvel Cosmic Invasion will feature full crossplay between all platforms. Players on different consoles like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch will be able to play together in co-op. This has to be coming to the Switch too, right? It has to be. It just doesn't make any sense that it wouldn't. Let's check the YouTube trailer really quickly. How about we do that? Uh, not paying for YouTube Premium, so I don't want to hear it. Like, we just gonna have to deal with these ads. I'm very excited for this fucking game, though. I tell you that much. This is gonna be really good. Okay, here we go. Is that Groot? No, that's Rocket. That's Rocket. She-Hulk. She-Hulk, so the wrestler in Streets of Rage, I can't think of his name. So She-Hulk moves like him. So She-Hulk's about the same size as the Sentinels. They got Sentinels from X-Men in here. This looks really good, man. This looks really, really good, you guys. Wolverine, and this is brown and yellow Wolverine. You got Venom. Who else? Just pointing out some of the people I see in here. Thanos sitting on a throne. So what platforms? Again, this is .emo. And are you not going to show the platforms? They did not show the platforms. That's interesting. Do they have a website? PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, and Nintendo Switch in 2025. This has to be coming to Switch 2. It just makes no sense for it to not come to Switch 2. So I'm just going to say it's coming to Switch 2. I don't know if I'm going to play it on the Switch 2 or if I'm going to play it on the PlayStation 5. The reason I say that, it's not that I want to leave Xbox out. The fact of the matter is, this is a grinder game. And if it's on, if I buy it on Nintendo or PlayStation, I have my PlayStation Portal, or I have my Switch or Switch 2, so I can, play it and grind it while doing something else. So that's why those are going to be the preferred platforms. If it happens to pop up in Game Pass or something like that, yeah, if I love it enough, I'll play it again. I wouldn't be surprised if I play this on every platform available. I'm not gonna lie. Just gonna be completely honest about it. They showed Arc Raiders, cinematic for it, so I can't really judge at the moment. Is there gameplay? Let's see. There is gameplay. So this is pretty good. So this actually was one of the reasons I took points off, because they showed so much in a 2-hour span, but the basic, like, it was a lot of cinematics, and that's the problem. It was a lot of cinematics. We don't know what was gameplay, and that's why I had to question whether this was gameplay. So from what I just saw of Arc Raiders, it does look like something. It doesn't look like an immediate game I'm jumping to, but it's something I would just kind of get on, like, oh, this seems pretty cool. I could see myself playing this, but it's not something I'm just like, yeah, this is a day one cop. I have to have this, something like that. It's not that situation. They showed a new trailer for Mafia: The Old Country. What can I say? Just looks absolutely fucking amazing. I love the Mafia series. My biggest gripe with Mafia 3 is, like I told you earlier, everybody wanted to make open world games. Mafia 1 and 2 were great games, and they weren't. Like, Mafia 3 has an amazing story. The only problem is the game is too bloated because they wanted it to be open world and they wanted to put all these icons on the map and all this stuff. Hey, you can go here and do this. You need to take over this territory, this, that, and the third. And that was my only issue with Mafia 3. And that's one of the reasons I still haven't finished it. And you're talking to somebody who loves Mafia and Mafia 2 and played both of them, the enhanced versions as well, and played them originally. So Mafia 3, I was really excited for it, but then it's like, fuck, I got to do all this. I had to do all this, and then the game is so bloated, you have to take breaks from it. And like, you ask anybody who's a gamer, and they will tell you, when you have a seriously big backlog and you're playing a lot of games, and if you take a break and then you jump back in the game because you have a save somewhere, a cloud save, and then you're like, what the fuck was I doing? You don't remember the button prompts and stuff like that. That's a pain. And that's why we need to stop with this whole thing about all these games have to be 100 hours or they're not worth the purchase, and they got to be open world or they're not worth the purchase. That is ruining gaming. I'm telling you that right now. That is a big issue. That is a huge issue. But Mafia, the old country, looks absolutely fucking amazing. It's going to be linear. It's not going to be open world. They've already told us that. It's going to have great story beats. It reminds me a lot of when Michael had to go back to the town of Corleone after he killed McCluskey and what's my guy? Not Salazzo. Uh no, fuck, what is his name? The Turk. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Um Yeah, and so Michael had to go back to Italy because that was the only place he could be like hide out and be protected and stuff like that. So it definitely has that old world country. These are the guys who essentially they would, somebody would come from over there and they would start this thing of, ours or theirs, Costa Nostra here in the United States. So it definitely has that feel. You can tell by the guns and stuff in the game. You can tell by the vehicles, by the way they dress, by the housing and stuff like that. This is going to take place, I believe, like in the late 1800s or something like that. I have to double check, but it looks amazing. So I'm really, really excited for Mafia. So we have 2 points off again. 1, because they're trying to make everything so fucking Souls inspired, and 2, because there were a lot of cinematic trailers and we didn't see much gameplay. They did show, speaking of Souls games, I did tell you, I did kind of like Lies of P. Like that was one that I liked. A lot of people are pissed off because, so Lies of P Overture is coming. Apparently Lies of P Overture actually has a difficulty setting, and a lot of people are pissed off because that's just like a huge faux pas in the Souls genre. Everybody plays in the same difficulty. There is no difficulty slider or anything like that. That's just like one of those unwritten rules of the Souls genre. So a lot of people are pissed about this. They showed off Lies of P Overture. It looks really good, I'm not gonna lie. That's available today in your digital store. So if you want to peep that and you already played the first Lies of P, you should go, or this is just like an extension of it. You should go ahead and head to your digital storefronts on your Xbox or your PlayStation or your PC. I don't know if Lies of P came to the Switch or not, but it is, Lies of P Overture is available today. So you should check that out. So at this point, we're about an hour through the show, and I'm like, this is a good show. There's been some hits and there's been some misses, but all in all, so far, it's decent. Then they showed off a Deadpool VR game. It actually looks really cool, but it's only available on the MetaQuest headsets. Watching the trailer over, I did see Omega Red, which is one of my favorite villains in the Marvel comic universe, and I'm just like, how have we not seen Omega Red in any of the major games or any of the Marvel films, especially the X-Men films or anything like that? I remember seeing Iron Man 2 the first time, where he had like the chains and stuff, where he attacked Tony out in the racetrack. And I was like, fuck, is that Omega Red? And somebody was like, oh shit, you're an Omega Red fan. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Omega Red is in this game. Dope. I don't have a PlayStation VR 2. Sucks, right? But I bought the first VR unit and I didn't really use it. Doesn't matter because this isn't coming to PlayStation VR. It's only coming to MetaQuest. But the game does look really cool. Crazy thing is, Deadpool is portrayed by Neil Patrick Harris, aka Doogie Howser, MD, in this game. So it would be really, really cool if they made a console version. There needs to be a Deadpool game. There needs to be a mainline Deadpool game. And I tell you who should fucking make it: Insomniac Games. Insomniac Games. They should be the ones to make the Deadpool game if there's a Deadpool console game, but we'll see. But it did look really cool. Mina the Hollower was showed off after this. This is from the developers of Shovel Knight. This is this is their new game. This is coming out around Halloween. So if you guys are really, really into Shovel Knight, this is a game for you. I'm not gonna lie, this game looked good. I wasn't into Shovel Knight. This game looked like it would have been a nice, good title for like the SNES. It doesn't have a Genesis feel to it. It has a Super Nintendo Entertainment System feel to it. Even the art style, the graphics, everything. It feels very much Nintendo, Super Nintendo-ish. This game does look good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. So if you guys are into Shovel Knight, this is the new title from their developers. So you should check this out. So the next game that showed up really had me beaming. I'm on 10 at this point. I was like, yo, here's what I'm talking about. This is what I do. One of my favorite book series. It's a graphic novel series. There is a Netflix series based on the graphic novel. There's a feature film based on the graphic novel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Michael Cera, Scott Pilgrim, the Scott Pilgrim series. So we had that Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up, and it was locked on like Xbox and like the Xbox 360, and I think it might have been on PS3 as well. But then they delisted it from the store, and then it came back. So I was really, really happy about that. So now they have a follow-up to that one, Scott Pilgrim EX. It's Scott and Ramona Flowers, and it's a straight beat 'em up just like the last one. Art style is the same, just a classic 90s beat 'em up like NES or Genesis or SNES, like Bad Dudes, River City Ransom, Double Dragon, stuff like that. It's in that genre. This looks really, really good. I'm very excited about this game. I didn't see a release date, so I'm going to have to go back and rewatch some of these trailers and stuff like that and start looking for release dates. But I'm really, really excited about this Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up. This is going to be really, really dope. This is the third reason. I think this is one of the reasons. I think this is the third reason I took the points off. So, they said after the 007 First Light reveal the other day that they would show more, and they said it's Summer Game Fest. So I was expecting to see gameplay of First Light or something like that. The head of IO Interactive came out and he talked about the game, and everybody's really, really excited. He brought Matt Mikkelsen on the stage, which shout out to Mads, right? Mads was great in Death Stranding. Mads was great. So the reason they brought him out is because Mads Mikkelsen was Lashif in 007, the film Casino Royale, which is the first Daniel Craig Bond film and probably one of my favorite Bond films there is. He's back, but not in the 007 version. So they're adding this Lashif Casino Royale mission in Hitman that's live today. Hitman World of Assassination. It's live today. Lashif's out there, so they bring Mads Mikkelsen out there. So your new contract, if you want to, is Lashif. Like, I don't know if he has the blood tear from his eye or anything like that. They did show him putting eye drops in his eye, so I mean, I guess the insinuation is that he would still have that issue, but yeah, that's in Hitman today. We do know that 007 First Light is coming the top of next year, which I'm excited about, but I thought that we were going to see more gameplay today. When they said that there would be at Summer Game Fest, I thought that we would see gameplay today. Oh, I gave a half a point. I took a half a point off for this, and I took a half a point off for something else. So this is the other reason I took a half a point out. They said that Nintendo was one of their partners in Summer Games Fest. Here's the thing. At the end of the title cards, we see the platforms. Yeah, we saw Nintendo Switch 2 for a lot of games, but there was no announcement of a Nintendo title. I'm like, well, maybe they're holding out the 3D Mario game or the Mario platformer for the Switch 2 for Summer Game Fest. Maybe they don't want to do a direct now. Maybe they're going to talk about what the next Zelda game is at Summer Game Fest or something like that. Then I thought, well, Nintendo kind of does their own thing. They don't really want to, but they're a partner. They're announced as a partner for this. And no, there was no Nintendo announcement or anything like that. So a half a point for the fact that there was no Nintendo presence, and then a half a point for the fact that I thought that we were getting more 007 news and gameplay and information, and it was nothing. So that's where the 3 points. Half a point for no Nintendo, half a point for the 007 letdown, a full point for the overwhelming, ridiculous amount of Souls genre games, and then another point for the lack of actual gameplay, because we saw a ton of like cinematics and stuff, We probably saw more cinematic trailers than we saw actual gameplay, I'm pretty sure. Not gonna lie. Um, they then showed off a game called Blighted. It reminds me very much of Hades. Looks like a roguelite. Hades is probably one of the only roguelikes that I'm really, really into. So I need to check Epic Game Store because they got a lot of stuff. Obviously, they have their Summer Games Fest sale and stuff like that. I wonder how much Hades is at the moment. I'm definitely gonna check that out because I really, really loved Hades. But Blighted actually looks cool, so I'm gonna check that out. They talked about the Jesus Christ, the Fortnite event, which is actually tomorrow. I'm recording this on Friday night, and it's gonna come out Friday night as well. Hades is still $24.99 on the Epic Game Store. I wonder how much that means. Hades 2 is still probably obviously full price. Um, so the Death Star laser is all built up, and that's going to be a whole thing. I haven't played Fortnite and God knows why is Hades 2 only $5 more than the first one? That just seems very strange. But anyway, I haven't played Fortnite in a while, and I probably should have jumped back in because I absolutely love Star Wars, but I didn't get a chance to, so it sucks. But it is what it is. So that's going to be a big Fortnite event, and then I guess the island will reset Sunday or something like that. So if you're a Fortnite player and you're listening to this on Friday night or Saturday morning, be looking out for that event. Or I'm pretty sure you already know about the event, so enjoy that. Then we got some news. The 30th anniversary of Resident Evil is coming up the top of next year. So they had the actress who played I can't pronounce her name, but the tall lady in Resident Evil Village. We saw her and some stuff like that. So, okay, well, no Resident Evil news. All right, cool. It's just like, well, happy anniversary. Then Street Fighter news. Alex, Ingrid, C Viper, and Sagat are coming to Street Fighter 6. I know everybody's really, really happy about that. You want to see those OG Street Fighter 2 characters. Sagat looks awesome. Me and the guys were talking last night. Apparently Walton Goggins, who I love, is being eyed to play M. Bison in the Street Fighter film. Walton Goggins is a phenomenal actor. Don't get me wrong. Love Walton Goggins. M. Bison, he is not. I don't know how that works. And then my cousin was like, well, I saw like a trailer where they had The Rock as Sagat. And I was like, you know what? That might be the most perfect casting that I've ever heard of. He would actually make a phenomenal Sagat. So hopefully they go that way. But Walton Goggins as M. Bison is absolutely insane. Then this really, really took me over the top because I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan. Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver presented by Ghostface Killah. This is an action RPG where you make a character and you have to, the Wu-Tang Clan members basically get kidnapped or whatever, and you've got to hunt down and find them and basically reunite the group. So I'm really, really excited about this. Can't wait to play this. Then we saw, I don't know what the hell I was doing there. Stranger Than Heaven. Last year they showed it off. I forgot what it was called at that point. It's called Stranger Than Heaven at this time. It was set in like 1915 at that last year when they showed it to us. It is now set in 1943 Japan. This is from the studio that does the Yakuza / Like a Dragon games. This one I was really, really, because I'm not a fan of like the Like a Dragon games, but I remember seeing this last year and being like, no, this is something interesting and this is something I might actually play. So we now know that there's been slight changes or whatever. It looks fucking amazing. I cannot wait to see more of this game. Can't wait to play it when it's available. This is going to be really, really good in my opinion. So at this point, we're like 5 minutes left in the show and Keely's like, yeah, we're coming to the end of our journey. And then they did a fake out on us because all the other stuff was like, happy birthday to you for Resident Evil. Then we saw it. Resident Evil Requiem, a.k.a. Resident Evil 9. They totally did a fake out on us. They show us the cinematic. You're at this FBI office. I forget who the character is going to be. It's not going to be Leon, though. Everybody thought it was going to be Leon. No, it's not going to be Leon. It's somebody else. When I didn't realize that it was Resident, I don't think anybody did till they showed the remains of what was left of the Raccoon City Police Department. I was like, wait. RP. I'm like, and then you see the statue, what's left of the first floor. I was like, holy shit, this is Resident Evil. No, they faked us out. This is Resident Evil 9. Sure shit, they go RE9. I was like, holy shit. And then they go Resident Evil Requiem. So Resident Evil 9 is titled Resident Evil Requiem. This is coming February 27th, 2026. So next year already, we know we got Resident Evil 9 in February, and then provided they don't move off that date, we're going to have Grand Theft Auto 6 in May of next year. So 2026 is already looking like it's going to be a banger of a year for gamers. I'm very, very excited. Early on in this show, I was like, this is terrible, because there was so much soul stuff. I'm just like, why? Why do we have to keep doing souls? And I'm like, we might have to wait for Xbox to save us on Sunday, because the PlayStation State of Play was just, it was like a C. I think I gave it a C plus. I didn't give it a out of 10 ranking, but I gave it essentially a C plus. But yeah, I think that Microsoft is actually going to show some great stuff on Sunday. I'm very excited. But shout out to Jeff Keighley. Obviously, we did see another. We know that Death Stranding 2 is coming on the 26th, I believe. But we did see another little Death Stranding. We finally got to see that guy that everybody thought was Snake. Connor fucking McDavid, man. I just saw Connor McDavid do something insane. Jesus Christ. He's the greatest player on the planet. Greatest hockey player on the planet, man. Shout out to Connor fucking McDavid. Good God. Yeah, so we saw a little bit more of Death Stranding 2 on the beach that is coming. It looks really good. I still want to deliver packages again, man. That's my only thing. I don't want to deliver packages again, but this game looks fucking amazing. But yeah, man, shout out to Jeff Keighley. Summer Games Fest, I felt like it delivered this year. I have some caveats, and generally speaking, though, it's like, you guys got to stop. Everybody does not need to make a Souls genre game. There's so many studios popping up like, we're an independent studio, we're making a Souls game, and it's like, this doesn't look like a fucking indie game. You know what I mean? What is it called? The Men of the Hollower, from the people that made Shovel Knight. That looks like an independent game. Like, this looks like a fully fledged action fucking Souls genre game. This doesn't look like an indie game. So I don't know, but yeah, all in all, I felt like it was a good show, and I'm really, really impressed. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to end it like I end everything else. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.